Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Twisty3 and this is my review of AFL Live 2. Alright, so first off, when you're going into a single match, you can choose between AFL, VFL, TAC Cup, NAB Under-18s and any of the bonus teams as a league. You can also choose from home, away, clash, pre-season and the unlockable heritage Guernseys. So once we finish with this, we're going to have a look at the team lineup where you can view each player's individual stats, and then you can also look at each player as an individual and have a look at their headshot and how realistic that player really is. And Adam Goodes is very realistic, might I add. Alright, so there's a large range of tactics that you can choose from for many different types of players. You can choose between the big Ross Lyon forward press or a large defensive flood, or even a bunch of stoppage tactics so that there's just stoppages all day long with vicious attack on the ball. Alright, so there's a range of stadiums to choose from. It has all the major AFL stadiums and some additional unlockable VFL menus, and there's also a variety of match options that you can modify here, as you can see below. Now, along with these match options, you can also modify the game options, including the type of gameplay on the difficulty, the audio, the visual, and an array of different camera angles. So let's go into the gameplay and some of the features of the gameplay. Now, we've got some ruck contests here, and this was not really highlighting the ruck contest as much as it was just basic general gameplay. I mean, we saw the ruck contest in the middle of the ground, and it's quite a simple technique. And then there are these round the ground ruck contests, which are much more user involved, where you have to be able to move as close as you can to the ball to get the required hit out and obviously the right timing. So I believe now we're going to have a look at some of the goal kicking, and it's a hard task really in this game for any player to perform, and you've got to be pretty much spot on with your right analog stick. And I've also learned that if you overcook the kick, then it just does not go anywhere near you would like it to go. So that's a perfect example right there. And this is a great example of some solid goal kicking straight through the middle. After some practice, I was finally able to nail some brilliant goals through the big sticks. But as I said, it's quite difficult. You have to be very precise with the way that you kick for goal. Now, some of the kicking ins are, quite a difficult task, because if you take even one step off the line, then the player is so close that they can just charge at you pretty much immediately, and it automatically calls for you to play on. And depending on your camera angle, it can change the camera angle and actually ruin your kick in. So you don't want to kick the ball in and see it fly back over your head, because that's just really embarrassing. Now, timing is everything, especially with marking. If you don't time the ball right, they're just going to take marks on you all day long, or you're going to drop the mark as well. But when you do get timing right, you're actually able to take some marks. And even though I haven't learned to kick from outside 50 yet, I managed to, grab a couple of good, well, there's a dropped mark, so that's pretty average. And then timing with the kick, you've got to be able to time these well, otherwise you get average kicks. There you go, there's a good example of a mark. So now we're going to have a good look, an in-depth look at the 15-year career mode. So first off, you begin by creating a player of your own choice. You can go through, edit anything from tattoos to the type of strapping to the colour boots they wear, and even the type of hairstyle that they've got. So once you've done that, you select a club, and then you're now contracted to that club for the duration of the season. Alright? So whether or not they give you another contract is based on your performance throughout the season. So here's some of the game menus. I'm just going to simulate this match quickly so that we see some of the end of game sort of finances and stuff that go along with that. So here's the finances tab. This can be done either after the game or via the office tab, which we're going to have a look now. And your inbox is where you will manage sponsors, injuries, tribunals, and also you get reports on the team telling you their best player, so the team you're going to play off against. Now, you can also change the staff, and depending on the type of staff you want, will increase the speed of your training for a certain type of player. Now, I believe the V is for veteran, and once you finish the season, you will have to make contract negotiations with your players. So hopefully, you're going to be able to get all your players to re-sign once you meet their demands. Now, trading is just as simple as this. You pick one player from your team, pick a player from the other team. Depending on the difficulty is depending on how hard it is to actually trade for that player. Now, Jeremy Cameron, I did trade for him, and then he ended up winning my best and fairest. So this is the draft, and this is a bit how it works. So you can either manually pick or automatically pick the player. And you can pick from any of the delisted players, or there are new created players used with just some basic name formations, and they have different ratings depending on where you take them in the draft. So here I finished really down the bottom end of the ladder, and I'm not going to get my contract renewed. They've sent me down to the VFL, so if you don't do as well in the AFL, they will send you back to the VFL, but there's always better luck next time. Anyway, I think that AFL Live 2 is a new way of AFL gaming. It's certainly very different to the way we've looked at it in the past, and I think that they have taken a step in the right direction. There's still some things that can and need to be improved, but there will be a DLC pack coming next year where they're going to try and address some bugs, make it look shinier, and also have a roster update for you next year. So I think in total with AFL Live's AFL Games track records, this probably stacks up as one of, if not the best AFL game. There's still some things that need to be worked out, but they're going to get there. I give AFL Live 2 7 out of 10, and the Push-Up King will shoot you off. See you guys later.